Open access means making research publications freely available so anyone can benefit from reading or using the research. Open access is free, immediate, unrestricted, and perpetual online access of research articles or books. It also allows others to reuse and build on the research. Open access is different from free content, and there are a number of different open access routes and licenses to choose from. Unlike free content, the copyright of the published work is retained by the author. The author then grants Intellect a license to publish the work and identify itself as the original publisher. It's important to note that access to free content, as opposed to open access content, is not often perpetual and can be changed to paid content at any time. The types of open access publications offered by Intellect are Diamond Open Access, Gold Open Access, and Green Open Access. Diamond Open Access journals or books do not charge article processing charges, APCs, or book processing charges, BPCs, as the whole journal is externally funded by institutions, associations, or through a model such as Subscribe to Open. Intellect has currently published 3 Diamond Open Access journals. Gold Open Access is offered for all Intellect subscription journals or ebooks. The publications are known as hybrid, as they combine both open access and paid content. The Gold Open Access option is offered at an article or chapter level on the payment of an APC or BPC. We offer various discounts, including for small institutions, developing countries, subscribers, and journal editors or board members. Green Open Access allows authors to share their accepted manuscript after a 12-month embargo period. However, the version of record is still copyright of the publisher and cannot be shared by the author. Open access content is made freely available by a Creative Commons license, and the reuse of content is dependent on the type of Creative Commons license chosen by the author or funder. Open access articles and chapters can be published under one of the following Creative Commons licenses. Each license has different conditions on how the content of the article can be reused. CC BY permits unrestricted use, distribution, and reproduction in any medium, provided the original work is properly cited. The CC BY license permits commercial and non-commercial reuse. CC BY NC allows users to copy, distribute, transmit, and adapt the published work, as long as the author is attributed, the work is not used for commercial purposes, and the work is not modified or adapted in any way. CC BY NC ND allows users to copy, distribute, and transmit the published work, as long as the author is attributed, the work is not used for commercial purposes, and the work is not modified or adapted in any way. Copyright permissions must be obtained for all third-party content, such as images or tables. This content needs to be either already available under a Creative Commons license itself, in which case the license guidelines must be followed, or permission must be cleared for the specific open access use. Due to the open availability of the content, some copyright holders might not grant permission, so this step needs to be carefully planned ahead of publication. Our open access policies and processes for books and journals are very similar, and our mission is to maintain our high publishing standards and author service while keeping prices and fees at a fair and accessible level. While online content is free, print editions are priced accordingly. All Intellect Open content is freely available on Intellect Discover.
There are numerous benefits to publishing your research open access. Your work will be freely available with unhindered access around the globe. This means anyone can read and reference your work without paywalls and other restrictions. Open access is equitable, but it can also increase the visibility and impact of your work. Open access can improve discoverability and measures such as citations, especially interdisciplinary citations. Increased visibility can lead to greater impact, not only in terms of academic metrics, but also fostering real-world impact because it is accessible to all, not just those with access to a research library. Your work is more likely to be used by policymakers, individuals, and organizations outside of academia. If you choose to pursue open access, there are still many reasons to work with a respected publisher. A scholarly publisher like Intellect will ensure the processes that underpin research and uphold academic integrity are followed and respected. Working with a publisher who understands open access can help with legitimacy, adding prestige and increasing impact. Intellect has 40 years of experience in academic publishing. We offer expertise and excellence in production, editorial, and marketing. We have procedures including peer review to guarantee quality throughout the publishing process. Our team will ensure the smooth delivery of a product or service that is ethical and compliant with funding requirements. We can help advise on Creative Commons licenses and offer guidance and top quality editorial assistance. We have clear policies when it comes to quality control, equity and fairness, legal considerations, working with stakeholders, whilst navigating all publishing processes. Intellect can help you with important factors such as equity, diversity and inclusion, sustainability, accessibility, discoverability and preservation. We provide a great deal of marketing knowledge. Marketing can foster interdisciplinary interest and help reach wider audiences, increasing equitable access, usage, citations, and impact. We believe marketing an open access article, chapter, or book to be of paramount importance, and we will develop a tailored approach, incorporating appropriate strategies and tactics to ensure your work will be discoverable to the widest possible audience, while targeting the most important and pertinent individuals.
Intellect has opted for the Diamond model for our fully open access journals because we believe in equity for our authors. All authors should be able to publish their work regardless of whether they have funding or not. Processing charges pose barriers for authors from universities that are not as well funded and for independent scholars. As a global publisher, we recognise that open access is not a level playing field, and we want to be in the position to serve all our communities. Intellect publishes over 100 journals, 3 of which are exclusively open access, and those journals are International Journal of Food Design, Artifact, and Global Hip Hop Studies. Other journals operate on a hybrid model, which means that they are offered for sale on a subscription basis, but authors have the option to publish gold open access by paying an article processing charge, or APC. All 3 of our journals that are fully open access are Diamond, which means that there is no processing charge for authors to pay. As to the question why there aren't more Diamond open access journals, the reasons are multi-layered. Journals are expensive to run, and if we are not able to cover our costs by selling subscriptions, we need a funder who will cover the costs up front. Our 3 Diamond open access journals are sponsored by institutions who share our beliefs and who want to support the disciplines. We have also seen that open access in the arts and humanities is slower to implement than in STEM or in social sciences subjects. The funding is simply not yet there to support it. Diamond open access is not without its challenges. Funding runs out and priorities change, but we feel that this is the model that will best serve our authors, and we are looking to expand our open access journals list with Diamond titles. An article processing charge, or APC, and a book processing charge, or BPC, are the fees the publisher receives to make content freely available for readers. Whilst open access means that research will be freely available, publications are not free to produce. The cost of publication is moved from the reader through subscriptions and paywalls to the author through the APC or BPC. The lifespan of a publication from the publisher's perspective starts with the beginning of production, or in the case of books, much earlier at proposal and peer review stage, and ends never. For non-open access publications, the costs for production, for example, copy editing, typesetting, printing, distribution, and marketing, amongst other factors, are advances paid by the publisher that will be recovered eventually through subscription purchases for the journal or individual purchases of the book or article. Eventually, the publisher might make a profit, but often only the basic costs are covered. We preserve the books and articles in perpetuity, and this carries cost. Many funders will allow authors to use research grants to pay APCs and BPCs. If your research is not supported by a grant but you wish to publish your work under Gold Open Access, please speak with your institutional library as they may have funding available for this purpose. Our 3 Diamond Open Access journals, the International Journal of Food Design, Artifact, and Global Hip Hop Studies, are funded by sponsoring institutions, associations, or a subscribe to open model. They all allow authors to publish without paying a processing charge. Intellect's book program also works with Knowledge Unlatched to make some of our titles open access. Through the Knowledge Unlatched initiative, participating libraries use the funds that they would otherwise have used for book purchase to help make the titles available through open access. We recommend that you also check the OAPEN Foundation website, as their toolkit has a growing list of open access funders. We produce hard copies of all our open access books and make them available for purchase. Authors will still receive royalty from the sale of print copies. Our article and book processing charges cover the costs of production, distribution, and preservation of ebooks, and account for the loss of earnings, which are incurred when fewer print copies are sold due to the ebook being freely available. Print book distribution works with a different model compared to open access ebooks. The sales will not only cover the cost of print, but also shipping charges from distributors for storage and handling, amongst other factors.